All right, so welcome to our fourth segment of this presentation, which is certification options for women entrepreneurs. Now, I'm going to focus on women entrepreneurs in this little segment, but I do want to let folks know that the world of certification is huge. This is a really great opportunity for established businesses who are interested in bidding on contracts to explore that possibility. So let's chat a little bit about certification options for business. Now, I'll start with some definitions here. You can be a woman-owned business but not be certified as such. Doesn't change your woman-owned status. It just means you don't have that stamp. So that's what certification is. Certification is a formal indicator of the ownership structure. There are incentives both on the public sector side, the government sector side, and private sector, including corporations. There are incentives to support businesses, often businesses that have been historically disadvantaged. Certification is a really great way to make a connection between a business that is owned by a historically disadvantaged or marginalized group and an entity that wants specifically to purchase from them. Enter certification. If you are at least 51% owned, operated, and controlled by member or members, oftentimes of a historically disadvantaged group, you can go after certification. The primary benefit of certification is bidding on contracts. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but oftentimes when we're talking about getting certified, you can get certified as a small business, like just general, a small business, women-owned business, veteran-owned business, minority-owned business, disability-owned business, a couple of different types that you can do. Now, as I mentioned a moment ago, you could be a woman-owned business and just not be certified as a woman-owned business. Doesn't change the fact that you are a woman-owned status, but it may open different possibilities for you if indeed you are. So the first step of the game is to know what certification is. Second step of the game is to know whether or not it might be right for you. How do you know that? Well, for one, have you been making money for at least 2 years? Many certifications, and there are lots of different certifications, many of them don't have that as an actual requirement, but it comes with my strongest recommendation that you operate your business making money for at least a couple of years under your own wings before you explore certification. Why? Because there is a lot of paperwork and oftentimes a good amount of money involved with getting the certification, and then getting it is only half the battle. Then you want to be able to leverage that certification to get out there and find organizations that want to buy from you. Also, you want to make sure that you are able to produce at the volume that they need. Maybe you make the world's most beautiful scarves. You can get certified as a woman-owned business and possibly try to get your scarf line picked up by Target. Well, among many other things, Target is going to need you to be able to turn around 10,000 scarves in a really short period of time in order to actually execute on a particular project with them. That's hard for a new business. That's hard for an established business. It's really hard for a new business. So I really recommend that you think about being in business for a while before you get certified. That way, you can make sure that you're using your time and resources most effectively when you grow into a certification rather than trying to start your business with a certification. That leads into this next point about an established business model. In another segment, we talked about how to build a business model. You want to make sure that you know how all the different components of your business work together so that you can know your own capacity with respect to bidding on and executing on a contract if you get one. For example, Polar Park in Worcester, new ballpark, they have been looking for small businesses to come in and do things like cleaning for them. Not just any cleaning company is going to be able to have the bandwidth or the capacity to clean Polar Park. That is huge. So you want to make sure that you've got your business model together well enough to where you've got a consistent method of operating, consistent staff, backup plans and fallback plans in case anything goes wrong and you need additional assistance in order to make a particular project happen. You want to know if you even want to bid on contracts like that. Now, the world of contracting is amazing. I mentioned 2 examples already, right? You've got SCARs, you've got cleaning services for entities like a ballpark, but it is amazing what folks contract out for. The government and corporations buy all kinds of things, right? They buy office supplies. They buy haircuts. I know of a woman who cuts hair for a living. She got a contract with the Department of Defense in New Hampshire. She goes in once a quarter and cuts everybody's hair. Lots and lots of contracts out there. Your question is, do you see yourself fitting into that? Do you want that? Knowing that oftentimes these contracts are going to be significant in size. So do you have the bandwidth to get and execute on a contract if you get one? You should be able to answer yes to all of those quite confidently before you get certified. Then you want to answer the question of what type or types of certification you want. Now, the sky's the limit here. You can get however many certifications you want or that you find are applicable to you. But in general, you can think about purchasers, people who buy stuff from small businesses, as falling into a couple of buckets. You've got the public sector, the government, right, which breaks down, as you can see, into federal, state, city. And then you've got the private sector, corporations that make purchasing decisions as well. So you want to think about where you want to do business and consider which type or types of certification you want to get from there, right? So there is a women-owned certification that is available for federal level contracts through the SBA. You can get certified as women-owned that way. But that same certification wouldn't necessarily hold water with a corporation like CVS or Walgreens. They've got their own certification for women-owned businesses. And there are even a couple of choices there. It gets real cute real fast. Now, we get into a lot of acronyms. You can see them right here on this slide. And I have sent an acronym list over to Ben, who can share it with you after so that you know some of the alphabet soup that we're trying to talk about here. But to bring us back, it's important to know what certification is, how it's commonly used, and how to know if it's the right fit for you. And if it is, then your next question to answer is, where do you see yourself doing business? Many, many, many businesses do business in all of these categories. Federal level contracts, state level contracts, city level contracts, contracts with corporations. And so they just get multiple certifications. There are several certifications for each of the type of entities that we were talking about, right? So you've got women-owned at the federal level, you've got women-owned at the state level, you got women-owned at the city level, and there's the woman-owned at the private level. Now, don't worry if this is all starting to sound like mumbo jumbo. We're here to help you. There are a lot of great organizations that I'm going to talk about in a little bit here who can help you with certification if and when that becomes something that is part of your strategic goals for the business. I want to show this little map here about diverse suppliers. There are lots of different suppliers, meaning people who sell stuff, you in most cases. And then you've got folks who buy stuff, corporations, different levels of government. So that's kind of how it all interacts. You've got the folks that sell stuff, you got the folks that buy stuff, and the idea of certification is bringing you all together and certifying a business as women-owned, disabled-owned, veteran-owned, minority-owned, what have you, is a really great way for these purchasers to know if their money is going the place that they want it to go. What incentivizes them for that? Well, on the public sector side, oftentimes there are federally mandated quotas, different levels of government that have to spend a certain number of dollars with certified historically disadvantaged businesses in any given year. On the private sector side, usually it's an internal decision that the board makes in order to support a certain number of diverse suppliers. Now, a couple of notes. I hear a lot of times folks going after certification when it's not quite the right time. Certification is not a guarantee that you will necessarily get business with Polar Park or CVS or Target. What they'll do, if you have cleaning services, say Polar Park, in that example, will put out oftentimes what's called a request for proposals. They'll say, hey, we need a cleaning company. Are you a cleaning company? Let us know what you could do. You'll put together the services that you could do, how long you've been doing it, what your prices will be, what your quality is, and they'll weigh a bunch of those different ones. If they find two bids that are pretty equally ranked, they're going to pick, oftentimes, they will pick the one that has at least one type of certification. So it adds weight to your application, but it does not mean that you're necessarily going to get business. There are a lot of other things that they're looking for. Also, especially on public sector contracts, you often don't need certification as any type of business in order to be able to bid on those contracts. If you are, say, a woman-owned business or other type of diverse-owned business that we were starting to mention before, but maybe certification isn't quite the right fit for you, no sweat. Promote that with your marketing materials. Talk about how much you contribute to the economy with your woman-owned status, as it were. Just don't use those official logos. Those are theirs. You wouldn't have that same weight in the application process of going after contracts, but if you're not going after contracts, that doesn't matter. It's more about how you're crafting your marketing message and talking to people. Okay. Chatted about this already, but should you want to get certified, these are some of the primary benefits: getting contracts, making connections with folks. There were often matchmaker events that happen throughout the year, things like that, that help you to leverage your certification. It can be helpful for growing your business. And with some purchasers, some folks who are looking to do business with you, it can add an extra layer of credibility to your business. All right. So, chat a little bit about this, but to put it in additional words, here's some of the primary benefits of getting certified, if indeed it's the right fit for you. Now, how do you know if you are eligible to get certified as woman-owned? Well, for one, you got to be fully formed and operational. Another one, you have to be at least 51% owned, operated, and controlled by a woman or women. That same benchmark of the at least 51% owned, operated, and controlled is typically the same for other types of certification too. Say you want to go after a disability-owned business certification. The person who has a disability needs to have at least 51% ownership in the business. Now, this is where a lawyer is really helpful for you. You want to make sure that all of your governing documents and the way that you actually operate the business matches this: owned, operated, and controlled by you. Any type of business can apply. Nonprofits don't, but on a later slide, I'll show you some of the certification options that are available to nonprofits. And the person who has at least 50 person or people with at least 51% or more control has to be a US citizen or resident alien. All right. In the interest of time, I'm not going to spend too much here, but I do want to make sure that folks know that there is a list of all the documents that you'll need at least to get certified via WeBank, which is the private sector certification for women-run firms that CWE operates. These documents are really similar as they are with other types of certifications. So take a look at that list. If it looks like Greek or looks like something you definitely don't have, that's an indicator that right now is not the right time to get certified as woman-owned. Doesn't mean you can't in the future, but that is part of why we want to make sure that you're a well-established company before you start going after these contracts, so that you don't get denied for something that you may have gained or gotten if and when you're able to, say, afford an attorney and an accountant to get all these documents together for you. WeBank certification is the certification that CWE offers. It plays on the private sector side of the house. So we certify businesses as women-run, and we certify corporations that have made that commitment to doing a certain percentage of their business with women-run firms every year. This is not free. Now, an important note, certification certifications on the public sector side and all related services are free. If you're going after something government related and they're trying to charge you money for it, call us. We want to know. We want to help flag that as spam. Things on the private sector side, such as WBANK certification, do have a cost. And this is what that looks like. Now let's head back over to the public sector bucket here. If you want to get certified as women-owned on the federal side, here's where you want to go. Offered through SBA, this website there that is hyperlinked in the PowerPoint slides that you will get later will take you right to that website. Say you want to do business as a women-run firm with the state of Massachusetts, Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Great. Similar documents are going to be required. They do make you attend a training, either 1 or 2 hour training on how to leverage your certification, but just head over to that website. It'll show you how to do it. Now, cities and towns each have their own, if they have a supplier diversity program, it's operated at the city or town level. So head over there. So I want to wrap up by showing you just how many certification options there are. Now remember, certification is not a guarantee of business. It's not required for many contracts. You really want to, and you can get multiple certifications. But just make sure that you have those boxes checked first, that you know whether certification is right for you, how you want to leverage that certification. And then any number of these can be really helpful for you. So we've got general small business, right? There are a few different women-owned certification options, as you can see on this slide. The Greater New England Minority Supplier Diversity Council is phenomenal with respect to certifying minority-run businesses. Now, they play on the private sector side of the house as well, but if you're checking out this grid here, it sorts things out by private and public sector operations. LGBTQ-owned businesses, disabled-owned businesses, veteran-owned small businesses, lots of different kinds of certifications, and you're eligible to get as many certifications as apply to your ownership status. Just make sure that your business is operating regularly so that you can make sure that you utilize those certifications efficiently and correctly if and when you get them. What I have here are some direct links to some of those different certification channels so that if you get to the point of your business that you want to explore 1 or more certifications, you can go right to it and learn about what their certification process looks like. It's going to be a little bit different for each organization. Okay. So I'll really wrap up this time. Forgot I wanted to include this before, but just who can help you? If you're not sure what certification is after this chat, that's perfectly fine. It is a complex topic that gets a lot of people up in knots. Fine, call us, call me and my team. I'm more than happy to chat with you. Our WBANK team does offer a free monthly webinar as well. So you're welcome to hop on and take that free monthly webinar. If you still have questions, our WBANK team is glad to help you. If you're interested in things on the public sector side of the house, federal, state, local, the procurement technical assistance centers are wonderful. These guys actually are part of the small business development centers that I mentioned in a different module here. But you can request free counseling for the procurement technical assistance center and they will be glad to help you. Now remember, anything on the public sector side is free. So if you start looking at charges, you may be in the wrong spot. So please reach out to me and I want to make sure that you have the right link to explore public sector certifications. All right. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of our last segment here together today. I am so glad to have been able to spend this time with you. We'll turn it over for questions, but if you take nothing else away from this afternoon, it's that you're not in this alone and we're here to help you. We're very glad to help you. I mentioned a whole lot of resources today. If you don't remember any of it, that's fine. Shoot me an email, let me know what you're looking for. I'm gonna try to get you in touch with the right group if it's not us. All right, I will stop sharing.